All right, welcome to the Perfectly Be podcast. As you can see, I am not by myself today, but who am I? I am TJ Percell, Mr. Percell, People's Champ Percell, PCP. Don't call me late for dinner because I won't show up. I'll eat. We eat. And joining me today is preferred guest. I say that because I've had two, and he's been on here twice.
Yes,
Preferred
sir.
guest, host of the This, That, and the Other podcast, Mr. Luis Munez.
Yes, sir. And I come with my own sound effects.
That that's why we like you on this pod.
Yeah, you gotta have my horns, man.
Those what's happening,
What's
but man, how's life down there in Polk County?
man? Never bad, man. Everything's all good over here, man. You know, I can't complain, man. I can't complain at all. Life is good for me, man.
Life stays good. Once again, if y'all haven't listened to the This, That, and the Other podcast, give it a listen. It touches a lot of subjects that you need to
Yeah,
know, that people need to talk about, and you get some fresh takes. You don't get the normal takes you see everywhere. They don't go with everybody's opinions. They have, fresh, thoughtful, insightful stuff about, you name the topic and they talk about it. That's one of the things I love
right.
about it.
Yeah, and for the people that's listening, that's why it's called the This, That, and the Other podcast. It's because when I first came up with the idea of starting a podcast, I didn't want to be uh just one realm. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a bunch of other things, but the underline of the whole podcast is hip hop. It's hip hop is there, it's rooted, it ain't going nowhere, and that's one of our favorite things to touch on in the podcast. So every episode is about other things, but it's always underlying hip hop. And it's me, and it's I got three other co-hosts. I got my boy Swan. Shout out to Swan.
Shout out Swan.
Um, and I got my brother from another Swells,
Shout out
uh,
Swells.
aka Bite My Tongue for No One. And we just
Facts.
added another
Facts.
co-host, a female, April, Aline Allen. She's adding the element that we needed as far as the female perspective on things that we talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Shout out April. Shout out.
yeah, she's awesome, man. And we finally got the mode right, and and just a long way on our journey. And we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever that thing is called. And pretty soon the visuals will be out there. We're still trying to work on that. It's a long going road, man. Trying to get the visuals going.
But you're moving forward, and that's what matters.
That's it, man. Moving forward, man. Moving forward.
Moving forward. So for the people that don't know, me and Lewis, we go back. We go way back. And I think we talked about it
Yeah.
before. We just hung around the same people because you had
Right.
just
Right.
moved down to
Yeah.
Lakeland, but you didn't go to high school down there.
No, I'm a little older, so
Not
it's
too
kind of
much
weird,
older.
but
How
yeah,
old are you?
not,
How old you turn? How old are you?
I'm 43.
Dog, I'm about to turn 40.
Yeah, yeah. So I
So
was a little, but
yeah.
when I moved here, get um the place where I worked at, that's where I met, Justin Miller and my brother Justin Miller, and he's a little younger, but him and Ryan Edrington were the ones that showed me around, kind of showed me some love. I don't know if it's because I could buy them beer or or what,
that was part of it.
but
That,
yeah. So
that
they
was a
were the
little
kind of
bit.
guy that they took me to house parties, and along there I met some great people, man, and I met you and a few house parties, and yeah, that's how you and I met. Yeah.
Hey man, and you mentioned it earlier. One of the things that your pod is strictly rooted in is like strictly rooted in deep hip hop, and I
Yes,
think
sir.
the main reason I wanted you on this pod today, obviously, the two main reasons that we vibe. One is definitely hip hop, and we can talk hip hop all day.
Yes, sir. All day.
For those who don't remember, Lewis was my guest on the top 500 What Are We Doing podcast that we did last year. Well, we kind of broke down and talked about some placements of some certain songs of a certain top 500 list. They don't pay me for the advertising, so I'm not telling you where it was. Um,
Right.
but the other reason that we get down is the main reason for this one, this podcast today. And for those that don't know, as you can tell by the shirt, I am a ridiculously huge wrestling fan. And one of the other things that we kind of dig and we talk about is a little bit of that wrestling. And
Yeah,
um,
wrestling.
WrestleMania season is coming up, and I've been wanting to do. I've probably been more excited about doing this one than any podcast that I've done before. This I'm one of those weird wrestling people. What got you into wrestling?
Man, I tell the story every time somebody asks me because being wrestling fans and we kind of get they not made they bust our balls a little bit if I must be frank. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and what I tell everybody is what with me being Puerto Rican, right? Even though I'm full blooded 100% Puerto Rican, I don't really speak Spanish very well. I don't know it all. I can understand it more than I can speak it. So when I was younger, maybe around in the age of 5, 6 years old, when my grandparents from Puerto Rico used to come visit, you know, they didn't know any English. So the way me and my grandfather bonded is he used to love wrestling. Back in the day when Pedro Morales, I believe it was
Pedro
Pedro
Morales. Yep,
Morales. Yeah, yeah.
yep.
So that was his favorite guy, and he put it on, man, and I was already kind of into it. So every time he come to Puerto Rico, man, I mean, come to visit us in Puerto Rico, that was our way of bonding. We couldn't speak to each other very well, but we can practice wrestling moves on each other. And he had this one move where he'd give me a chop to the left, a chop to the right, and a poke between the eyes, you know. And it was something that,
Hey,
I'll
that's a
never forget. So
finisher
that's,
move back then.
yeah, man, look, chop to the ribs, man, on each side, and then he give me that poke, man,
One,
and
two,
that's,
three.
yeah, and that's ever since then, man, I just never stopped watching it, man.
See,
Never stopped watching it.
that's
And I
awesome.
mean, yeah, I mean, I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I still kind of keep one eye open. I try to get my son on it a little bit, so
Yeah,
he enjoys it. But sometimes, he goes to bed, so he can't really watch it all, and his attention span's pretty low too. So there's that.
there is that. There is that. I so my story is a little bit similar, but then I took a break. So my grandfather also big into wrestling, and I'm from, for those that don't know, I'm from deep country Kentucky, where there were three channels on TV, and every Saturday wrestling would come on,
Yes,
and
sir.
you couldn't really tell what he was watching, but all you could tell is he's just sitting in front of the TV and he's just getting it. He's getting
Yeah.
it. And so that's all we knew. We saw how excited he was about it, and we're like, all right, this has got to be something. And then
Mhm.
I took a little break from then because I was probably like 8. I didn't really know what was going on. And then sophomore year of high school, that was like right around the wrestling boom, so to speak. And there are a couple kids talking about it at school, and I'm like, pro wrestling, what that? All right, I'll guess I'll check this out, see what kind of like people do today with
Right.
reality shows, and it's like, hey, why don't you check this out? And
Yeah.
I started watching it and I haven't turned it off since. I've gone through
Yeah.
every promotion. I probably put way too much time into following some promotions and some wrestling stuff, but it's I've learned to appreciate, because there's a lot of people it's like, oh, it's fake. Why do you watch it? Hey man, it still
Yeah.
hurts. Like,
Yeah.
like taking the
Yeah, I explained to
bumps.
my wife that I told my wife, I said, you gotta look at it like this. These guys are stuntmen. You know,
Yeah.
they're doing stunts and they, they'll get hurt and yeah, it might be a little, scripted or whatnot, but they can still get hurt and things can still happen. So
Yes,
not
absolutely.
100%.
And
Yeah.
just the pure athleticism it takes to do
Right.
what a lot of them do, and just like putting together like matches and the stunts that they do and the cardio to
Yeah.
20 minutes in a match, and they're still doing double backflips, and you're
Exactly.
like
And that's
I
why I
gotta
tell guys,
respect this.
yeah, and that's what I tell guys that kind of buzz my balls for watching it. And oh, that shit is fake and this and that. I'm like, well, let me see you get your ass in there and do it. And you
Yeah,
do
once
it,
you
you wouldn't last
just
2 minutes.
jump off the top rope one time. That's it.
One time. Come on,
Just
man.
one time. Let me see
Yeah.
what you got. And or take, because some of them, like, they might say it's fake, but man, dog, when they hit them across the chest, that's not fake, man. Like
No,
that.
no.
And
They got the marks to prove it.
some of the slow mos will show them like kicking in the face, like, hey dog,
Yeah.
that's let me kick you in the face.
Yeah. Like let me sit there, just stay there and let me slap you as hard as I can. And if you can survive that, then maybe you can
Maybe we can
survive the
talk.
WWE. Yeah,
Then
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
then maybe we could talk. And so
These
what
guys are literally letting them, letting people slap them around and punch them and kick them in the face. They're letting them do it,
for
and
your
there's not too
entertainment.
many people that can do that, man. Yeah, for your entertainment,
For
exactly.
your for your entertainment. That's wild to even think about. Um,
Yeah,
and so in doing this, everybody has a list. I'm a sucker for a list. I'm a
right.
big. It's arbitrary, but it's easy stuff to talk about, and we all have different lists, different criteria. And I asked you on here so that we can discuss our individual top five lists. And so,
Put me to work on this one, man.
and so I know I know we're asking you, and it was something. And
Yeah.
so, but before I ask you, I guess kind of how you kind of thought about how you placed your top five, and we'll just say it's your top five different than my top five, different than so and so's top five. This is us. Don't judge us.
Right.
If we're tell you what, if you don't like what we're saying, leave a comment. We'll talk about it.
Exactly.
That just means you listen to us talk, which is cool.
Yeah, and we might
Um,
we might leave some of your favorites out, but this is our list, not yours.
oh, I know for sure I'm leaving a lot of favorites out. Like, but
Yeah.
this is so my criteria. I didn't really have one, but when I started thinking about the people I liked, they all kind of fit into certain categories. And so, one, two, three. So I kind of came up with like six different criteria that I use to kind of guide this top five. And this is in no particular order. Um, Although I probably would say probably my number one biggest thing is mic work. I'm a big fan of somebody who can work the mic. Like, tell me a
Yeah.
story, make it
Yeah.
fun,
Entertain me. Yeah.
entertaining. So that's my second one. There's mic work. There's like an entertaining slash cool factor about
Yeah.
it. There's ring work for me. Like, you got to be able to move a little bit. I'm not really like the flips and stuff are cool, but tell me a story in the match. Like tell me something that I could follow. Um, they had to have an extensive run at some point. Like, I like jobbers, but I mean, if you're gonna be in the top five, you can't be a jobber. Like, that's just I
Yeah.
I can't defend you if you lost every match for a year. I sorry, can't
Yeah.
defend you.
Quick,
Um
quick, quick sidebar before we start. Greatest jobber ever.
I mean, it's gotta be the Brooklyn Brawler. I mean,
Yeah,
it's gotta be.
man. That's exactly
Hey,
what I was gonna say.
that dude still gets a pop too. Like,
Man, yeah, man.
I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
hadn't had a wardrobe change in 35 years, and
Man, I really believe that shirt smelled like crap, man.
And you know what?
That's funny. I ain't think you was gonna say the same thing I said, but that's awesome. That makes it even better.
And you know what? He's still cashing checks too.
Yeah, man. Hell
He's
yeah.
still
Hell
cashing
yeah.
checks. And,
Well, go
and then
ahead, man. Go ahead.
no, you good. Then the last two big things for me is merch, or actually merch wasn't necessarily a big thing, but it has to be some kind of like something cool. And then the music or the theme had to be a banger. Like that to me is and
All
this
right.
is
I
another
like it.
podcast, but a lot of the themes like for today, it's just different. When some of the music, like when you heard those first 2-3 seconds of a song and you knew
Yeah.
somebody was coming out, oh, let's go. Now
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
generic music, and I'm like, who is this? And then some of them all sound the same, and it's like, so yeah, that's my list has a package of all of that.
Yeah.
Um, did you have anything similar, the same, different?
Man, listen, my criteria was exactly the same. Another thing I would add to that is how personal it was for me. You know what I mean? Like the impact you made on me alone.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that's pretty much everything you said. I based my list on,
That
and that's why
works.
I have more honorable mentions than I do top five.
I do. I was gonna say top five is a loose term. It's used
Yeah,
loosely.
yeah,
I
yeah. And
I
my
narrowed
list, like I
mine.
said,
I got
my list.
seven.
Sorry, my okay. Well, my list is like I said, it's all what you said, but the number one thing is how it personally affected me. You know what I mean, and the entertainment you provided to me, and
Yes.
the storyline you provided to me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Whether I can relate it, whether I can take your story, your character, and relate it to something that happened in my life. And
Mhm.
that's what makes it personal. You know what I mean? That
That's
makes sense.
that actually is probably a big one that I didn't mention too. Like that's
Yeah.
you connect with the character, and
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. So out of your top five, how many honorable mentions you got?
I got. Let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I got 5. And the one of the 5 is a big one.
Oh, I
Actually, they're
like
all pretty.
this. All
Yeah.
right, so let's do
Yeah.
this. Let's name all the honorable mentions. Let's just because I'm gonna keep a little tally here. Let's just
Okay.
name the honorable mentions, and then we can discuss the honorable mentions like as a group, and then we
Okay.
can hop into 5, 5, 4, 4, so
All
on and
right.
so forth. All right, honorable mentions.
Before we get
That's
to that, we got, of course we got to say rest in peace to Scott Hall, man. You got the shirt on, right, and man, and he's one of my, since we're talking about honorable mentions, he's one of my honorable mentions, and the reason why is because when he first came out as Razor Ramon, like with me, see me and my father, when we watch sports or whatever we're watching, if there's a Hispanic in there, he's
oh, he's in.
automatically
He's in.
he's in. He's
He's
our favorite
in.
guy. You know what I mean? And when he came out, so the way he sold that character, until he became Scott Hall, I thought he was Cuban.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Hey.
I thought this
Hey.
guy Razor Ramon was straight Hispanic, and that's what made me love him.
Hey,
Oh man, we got a
Chico.
Hispanic here, yeah, and Oye mi chico and all that, and man, man, he's definitely
I
gonna be
got the
missed, man.
gold.
Rest in peace.
I got the gold
Yeah,
chains, and I got gold around my waist. And it's just
yeah,
like
man,
sold it. Hey
yeah,
man,
yeah. Rest in peace, Scott Hall, man. Razor Ramon.
Rizzo Ramon, the bad
Oozing with
guy.
machismo. Listen, I told you I wasn't really good with Spanish, so when he said oozing with machismo, I remember looking at my mom. I was like, "What's machismo mean?" She told me what it meant. I was like, "Oh my god, yeah."
Yes, yes.
That's
I
how I
will.
learned what machismo means, and that's awesome, man. That's how good of a character it was, man.
Love
Um,
that dude. Love that
yeah,
dude.
man. Hell yeah, yeah, man. So it was sad to see him, see him go, man. Everything he's been through, everything he accomplished, all the, the alcoholism that he got through, and sad to see him go, man.
Yeah,
one of the greats.
One of the greats. So, spoiler alert: my 12-bar Tuesday today was about Scott Hall.
Oh yeah, I seen the link on Facebook, and I haven't got a chance to click on it yet.
So yeah, today
that's
was
awesome, man.
I threw in some extra flair to it too, so you'll see it. It's I will talk more about Scott Hall in a minute.
Yeah, man.
All right, so here's the honorable mention for you. Who else we got?
All right, Tito Santana.
Okay.
And that's another reason, because he was Hispanic, and Santana is my mother's maiden name. So
okay.
Before when I was younger, to me Tito Santana was just a Hispanic. I didn't know if he was Mexican, Puerto Rican. To me, he was just Latino. You know what I mean? So I didn't know, and I remember my mom kind of like joshing with me a little bit, like, yeah, that's your uncle. I got a brother named Tito that I haven't spoke to in a long time, and his last name is Santana. It could be your uncle. You know what I mean? And so I kind of ran with that a little bit, and of course his character was awesome, and he was great in the ring. He was, to me, he's one of the greats that go down in history.
Yeah, dare I say underrated?
Yeah. Did he win a championship? He might have been Intercontinental champion one time.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think he got a world title.
Yeah, no, man. He's definitely one of the GOATs in my eyes, man. Tito Santana. He had the move. What was his move called? It wasn't the flying burrito, was it?
Oh my goodness! Hold on. Let me. I gotta look, man. Let me look this
I think
up,
it was
man.
the flying burrito, man.
Oh my goodness!
It was like a forearm off the rope.
Tito Santana finisher. Hold on. It was. Oh my God! It was the flying forearm, but it was
the forearm.
The flying burrito.
Yeah. See.
Oh my goodness! The flying burrito. Oh
man. Yeah, man. We used to, me and my sister, man, my twin sister, shout out Leona. We used to love Tito Santana, man. We used to be like, there go Tio, there go our uncle.
That's our uncle.
But he was
Uncle Tito.
He was Mexican the whole time.
See now you made me think of another person. So now I have 3 honorable mentions. But this one it's not really, but go ahead. Keep going with yours.
All right. Another one is the Honky Tonk Man.
I had a feeling he would be on yours. I don't know why.
Man, listen, first,
I don't know.
Because the way he played that character, man, like, you really hated that motherfucker, man. I hated Honky Tonk Man. I hated that guy, but I love watching him too. You know what I mean? And playing hitting people with the guitar and the little dance he did. Then you had Jimmy Hart by his side, man, and yeah. I used to like. Oh, he had a good theme music.
They said he had the theme. Good. Had the background singers. Yeah, the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, he goes, I'm cool, I'm cocky, I'm bad. And he's
man, he's the Honky Tonk Man. He's the Honky Tonk Man. Hey, man. Big shout out to Honky Tonk Man.
I think he's from Memphis, so I think he's from Tennessee. So
that's it. I figured there's a Tennessee connection in there.
But yeah, Honky Tonk Man, his character, he made you believe that he was total asshole. Where I've heard stories like behind stage, he was actually a great man and good to be around, and and one of the good guys, yeah. So
that's awesome.
Honky Tonk Man was. I thought I would catch you off guard with that one.
I for some reason I just thought Tennessee, and I was like, okay, he's gonna pick somebody from Tennessee, and it ain't gonna be Jerry Lawler. So
no.
And then that was the only other person I thought of. So that's.
I think Jeff Jarrett, it might be from Tennessee. I could be wrong though.
I know his character was from Tennessee. I don't know if he was actually from Tennessee. But shout out to Jeff Jarrett. All right, you got Jeff Jarrett's
another good. All right, these last 2 are pretty big.
Oh, I like this. I like this. Let's.
All right. Then people will probably argue and say that these two should have been on my top 5. Now this one right
Okay.
here is on my honorable mention is Triple H.
Okay. Hey,
Triple
he's
H.
on mine. Hey, he's on mine too.
Yeah. So he was his character. That character, you hated that guy. Even when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley with the British character looking like guy, you hated that guy. He was smug, but that inside ring ability that he had, man, it's like he should be on my top 5, but he's not.
He wavered. He wavered, and because he's in my honorable mention, I'll kind of briefly mention him here. He's partially the reason why half of America got in trouble at school. Dog, they started doing DX stuff, man. Like, you can't tell me that wasn't cool.
Man, how many people went around?
Hey, how you doing? Suck it. That was all school was. It was and you can't tell me that wasn't cool back then.
Yeah, man.
And then even the turn after that is when he started like doing the water spit. That was something I started doing like before baseball. Walk out, pour the water on, spit it up, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. I'll rock with that. Triple H is
I give his character. Reasons. You hated him. You hated him when he was bad, and you loved him when he was good. Of course, you loved him in DX, man, and he just and then like one of your criteria was theme music, and that theme music when they hit, it was one of the ones that hit.
Fire. The pyro.
Play the game.
Man, oh my goodness.
That was a hard theme music right there. Yeah.
And that, oh my good. Yeah. See that's one of the ones that, man, there's reasons why he's not higher. He started high. He started in my top 5. And then because of some other people, he's a high honorable mention. So no, I rock with that. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, and this last one. You ready to move on?
Yeah, your last one.
With Triple H and this next one I'm about to say, like, there's maybe one person on my top 5 that I could probably take off for Triple H and the next person, but the person that I have on my list is, personal. I made my criteria to be, more personal than anything, the effect that it had on me. But with this guy right here, he might be on my list. I might take the number 5 out and put him in there, man. Because I love this guy, man. I love this
nobody
guy.
knows right now. The list, you only see your list. Nobody knows.
My super honorable mention is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Woo! Woo!
And like I said, man, he's on my top 5, but I had to put this, man. It was just I'm back and forth like this with it, man. And if I could put 2 people on my top 5, I would have him next to someone else. Mm-hmm. But Ric Flair, bro, I remember, in Tennessee watching NWA and the little circuit they had in Memphis, and I got to see a lot of wrestlers in that era because they were only showing it in Tennessee. You know what I mean? And I came across some channel that we had. I couldn't even tell you what it was, but it was so low budget, and they showed these guys. And NWA, man, the wrestling organization, when they come out, it was generic as hell. But man, that talk that Ric Flair had, and that charisma, that hair, those sunglasses, man, the suits, the jewelry. Like, he's kind of one of the first person that put me on to what the hell a Rolex was,
Hey, man.
And he just told, like, since day one, I got his action figure, man, this little generic little action figure. And, he always, when he was bad, just like Triple H, when Ric Flair was bad, you hated him.
Yes.
But when he was good, you loved him too.
Loved him. Hey
Yeah.
man, I'll tell you this. One of the greatest gifts my wife has given me. We went to the WrestleMania that was Ric Flair's last match. We
Oh,
were
no shit.
we were at that WrestleMania, and dog, if you had just heard the
Against Shawn
crowd,
Michaels?
yep,
Where was that at?
Orlando,
Was it Orlando? Damn.
Orlando, 2008,
Wow.
and just hearing the crowd after, like, oh my, like, whoo, like I'm getting goosebumps. I was
Yeah.
thinking, hey man, that
I
was
remember
back when
getting goosebumps while I
WrestleMania.
was at home watching it.
That was back when WrestleManias were affordable.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried to go to the one in Tampa, last year or year before, man. And
Cost you a grip,
hey,
probably.
you gotta donate a kidney to get inside that one, man.
You gotta sign over your tax return. You
Yeah,
gotta
man.
you gotta
Get your
sign over a
firstborn
deed
away and shit.
deed to your house. Like, man, but no, we got in, and
That's
that was
awesome,
cool.
man.
That was
I
cool.
bet. I bet. I got choked up in my living room watching him cry and take that sweet chin music to the face,
Mm.
man.
And just
That was
watching him work that match, like just
yeah.
doing what he could do at whatever age he was, like,
Yeah, man. He was about 108.
yeah, still cashing checks, still putting
Yeah,
people
yeah.
in the figure four.
Yeah.
Um, the only reason Ric Flair's not on my list is because I didn't see enough of him live. I've seen tapes of him, like I've seen the old stuff on tapes. I didn't see enough of him live to appreciate what other people have done. So for me, I didn't think that
Yeah.
would be fair to,
Yeah.
like, because I first saw Ric Flair, it was WCW, and he was a bit older then. And so I couldn't appreciate, because they said he could work with anybody. I didn't see a lot of it. So shout out to Ric Flair.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Like when he was in to me, it seemed like Ric Flair was always old.
he stayed
Like,
old, man.
man, like when he was in NWA and and he was always old, man.
He
Maybe because of the
stayed
hair
old.
was white or whatever, man. But he was old to me. He was always old. But yeah, man. I remember watching him in NWA. Shout out to NWA. They got a
WA
promotion now
Power.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
man.
watched a
I don't
little
know where to
bit of
catch
it.
it.
So when it was on YouTube pre-pandemic,
Okay,
and I could watch it then, but now it's on like Fight TV, I think, or something.
I don't even know
Um,
what that.
I don't, yeah, that they lost me with that one. But when it was on YouTube, it was like an hour show, just get people in and out. It
Yeah, I
had
just
like
always saw
that
like
old
advertisements for
television.
it.
It had
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
that's how exactly what it was back in those
Mhm.
days. I loved how they kept it original like that, man. Because that's where I seen Ric Flair for the first time was that same setup, man. It was
Mhm.
awesome. And I think Jim Cornette was there, and
Mhm.
I want to say was it Tony Schiavone
So Schiavone
there? I don't remember, but
was back then before he
yeah. So
became an
man,
announcer.
yeah, man. That
So
was
that
good times,
was
good time. Ric Flair is probably on my top five, but the guy I got on my number five is very like
yeah.
personable to me. You know what I mean? Just a
Mhm.
light more than Ric Flair was. Even though I lived my life in the creed of Ric Flair, you know, I try to be as cool as that motherfucker is. And but we'll
That means,
we'll get to it.
yeah, we'll get to that because my honorable mentions won't take as long. You already mentioned Triple H, which is one of them. The one that I thought about, and I just put him on because he deserves. There's another common theme with a lot of my top five, and he kind of set the precedent for what most people did. Honorable mention Roddy Piper.
Ooh.
Honorable mention. Just
Yeah.
the talk show, Piper's Pit, a grown man wearing a kilt, and you talk about wanting to hate people, might be the best heel ever. Like that
Yeah.
dude
Yeah,
might be.
man.
He showed a generation of people how to be a heel,
Yeah.
and
And
that
it seemed like
was
when he did the Piper's Pit, that it was like to me it felt like it wasn't scripted. Like he'll say some things
Yeah,
like, I don't think you're supposed to say it, you know what I mean? And
he
it was like,
had
so what?
he had some stuff. He's like, I got the mic. What are you gonna do? Fire me?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
also is
man.
a common theme of some of my other ones.
Man,
We
Roddy
already mentioned
Piper.
Triple H. I won't
Rest in peace, Roddy
go
Piper,
back to
man.
him. And another honorable mention who's kind of a newcomer. A lot of people probably won't recognize him because he did a lot of indie work. He had a real good run on NXT, and now he's in AEW. That would be one. Adam Cole, baby.
Wow, already you got Adam Cole as an honorable
So
mention?
I was thinking about this. He's been I've been watching him for probably like he's been here for like 4 or 5 years on the mainstream.
Yeah, yeah,
That meets the criteria. If you look at like Attitude Era, that was only maybe 3 4 years long.
yeah. Right,
And
right.
so I started thinking about it, and I'm like,
He's a
he's
hell of
been
a
here a
character,
bit.
man.
He's been here a bit. He's got that cool factor. He's got audience participation. A great heel. Can work in the ring.
Yeah,
He's good on the mic, but he's not up to my top five level of people that I have on there. But big fan.
yeah.
Um,
I like him too. I like him too.
Adam
I like.
Cole, baby.
I
All
like to
right.
see. I like to see him as a champ in the AEW soon.
He'll get there. I think they ran it too soon, but I think
Yeah.
they got something else coming. But he'll get there. He'll get there. He's
I see that. Excuse me, but I see that guy that's a champ now in AEW.
uh
I'm not. I
eh,
wasn't too familiar with him. But I see that the crowd, the people really love that guy, man. They were
make
super
a
excited
move,
when he.
man. For his
What's
size,
his
he's
name
like
again?
Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah. So that
My
guy, and
man. Hey, he can move. He can.
yeah, man. I was because I kind of laid on AEW. Like I said, I don't really watch it a lot, but uh, when I saw the love that he was getting from it, how crazy they went when he became champion, I was like,
Yeah,
man, is this
man.
guy that good, or has Omega been the champ too long, and they were happy to
Yeah.
see
One of
see
those.
him not. Yeah, so that's what I figured it was, but I thought I said, man, that guy looked to me, and I had to look at him again, but I thought a young Brian Pillman, man, that's what he looked like
Yeah,
to
no,
me.
he's about that's about that. Big guy
Yeah,
can move. He does the flip stuff, and it's like they tell a story. That's one thing I
yeah,
do like about AEW is they let the wrestlers wrestle. So
yeah.
big
Yeah.
fan, big fan. All right,
I like
that's
that guy. I like that guy. Sorry, I like that guy. King. What's his name? The New Yorker.
oh
Uh,
Eddie Kingston.
yeah, I like that guy.
Hey, that
He's
dude's
another one that looks
real.
like he goes off script. Yeah,
That
like he doesn't. That's
dude's
like yeah. What you see is what you get, motherfucker.
hey, this is what and he's like, I'm a little bit overweight. I'm a rock out here with my baseball cap cocked to the side. I'm gonna have DMX shirts on.
Typical New
What?
Yorker, right?
What do
Typical
you
New
want?
Yorker.
I saw him out there some Tims. I'm like, this dude is living that
Yeah,
life.
I like him. I like him.
No,
I
I
like
like
to
him a
see
lot.
his future, man. I
I
like to
like
see his
him a
future. He
lot.
got a bright future. Yeah. He's been
All
around for a
right.
while apparently, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's
I
been
never
around.
heard of him.
He was like big on like he didn't really get a big push, but he's been around for quite some time. I'm glad he's getting some shine now.
Yeah, I like him. I like
Much
to see him as a
deserved.
champ.
All right. The time has come.
Uh-oh.
The actual top five. The not
Top
top
five.
10, not top five and a half. The actual. We had to do some work to narrow it down. These are the ones that count.
Yeah.
With no further ado, your top five or number five. Who you got?
Oh man. This is where I felt like Ric Flair should be at right here.
It's fair.
But instead, I went with like I said, very personal. As much as I hated this guy, was Jake the Snake Roberts.
Hey, yes, sir.
Jake the Snake Roberts character, man, is like it's one of those guys, like you said, that just feels like that was just him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the snake, and he was an ass man. He was mean motherfucker, man. I'm sorry, I keep cussing, man. But
no, that's good. No, I like it because that's what he brought out of you. You're like this.
Yeah.
Sorry, but this dude,
dude, he scared the crap out of me and my sister, man. And he was an asshole. He was a bad dude.
He beat you with the DDT and then put the snake on you. Like,
yeah, and that's why I love him. I love the DDT. To me,
simple.
That move, man, when
Bam.
I used to wrestle in my front yard with my boys,
that was it.
DDT was my move.
That was it. Because you know why? Man. Everybody could get it.
Yeah.
One time, you could be small, you could be big.
No matter.
Everybody could get it.
Yeah, one time, quick story, man. Me and my boys were wrestling in front of my house, and in front of my house, I had this big live oak tree, right? And it had the roots, coming out some of the roots were coming out the ground. And I remember I kicked my boy in the stomach and I DDT'd him right on the root. Boom. And man, I remember I thought he was knocked out, man. I thought I was getting so much trouble. But but Jake the Snake Roberts, man.
Hey.
He scared the shit out of me, man. I hated him, but I love to watch him. And that snake, he whips it out, and I'll never forget when that snake bit Macho Man, and I couldn't understand if it was real or not, and was that supposed to happen or
this has to be real.
Man. So I feared him so much that I had to put him in my top 5, man.
He might be outside your window right now.
Yeah, just looking at me through the window like with the snake.
I'll say this.
And then he brought the albino snake. Remember he brought the albino snake out?
Yes. Man. I'll say the other
thing
about
him. He had a rivalry going with, I think it was Ricky Steamboat, and Ricky Steamboat brought the Komodo dragon out.
Yeah, that Ricky Steamboat. The other thing about him is he had that distinct voice.
Yeah.
Like when he
cut a promo, a pack of Newports before he got out there. And
Newport, Paul Mall,
Marlboro Reds.
Yay! And you weren't gonna say nothing to him.
No, man.
Because he saw him carrying that bag around. You knew what time it was.
Yeah, man. That was the guy that scared the crap out of me. But I love watching him. I love watching him. I remember he had his own show. Remember he had his own show like the Piper's Pit?
He did.
He had something too, but I can't remember the name of it. But
there have been so many shows on. There have been so many attempts at shows. I lose track of half of them.
Yeah. So
no, that's
I put Jake instead of putting Ric Flair on my top 5. I put Jake the Snake because, like I said, he was a little bit more personal for me.
You can say Davey and put him over the edge. That's fair.
Yeah, there we go.
That's fair. So my number 5, my number 5, we have already mentioned him, but I will go with the music to give him the respect that's deserved.
Yeah.
Ooh, banger. Number 5, Scott Hall. So I wanted to continue the Scott Hall thing. So this is a Scott Hall. I started chewing toothpicks in high school because of Scott Hall. Just walking out, and I'm like, dog, he made chewing the toothpick cool.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, and just throwing at people.
You know how many times I flick my toothpick at people, man, and piss people off?
Right in the forehead too, just yum. And you're like, hey, man. He does it. It's cool. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hey man, just the whole presentation of him and the gimmick, like the NWO changed the game. Like
fact.
They were I talked about how Piper did it, but when they first started in WCW and they thought it was like an invasion angle, and they like broke that fourth wall of holy crap, is this actually like real? Like, are they really out here taking over? And you're
Yeah.
like, whoa, this is,
Yeah.
but he was so cool with it though.
Yeah.
Like he beat you
Yeah. He
up
was.
and talk to you, and you're like, okay, that
Yeah.
you right. You right. Got no, there's nothing to say about it. So yeah, he is number 5. So I said we're gonna do
Yeah.
this like football, banana football snake draft type.
Yeah.
So my number 4, and I'm gonna catch some flack for this because he also hasn't been around that often. But oh my gosh, I am so hooked when he comes on the TV. Um, Let me find it. Hold on, YouTube always got ads.
Oh my God.
Number 4, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He is better than you,
Wow.
and you know it. Hey, hey
Already?
man, let me tell you, if you say the best heel in the business, bar
Listen.
none, and you said something earlier where he says some stuff where you're like, dog, they didn't write that in.
Yeah, I don't think he was supposed to say that.
But he said everybody catches it. It doesn't matter who it is. At interviews, they get it. If you're married, she's getting it. If you had a fifth grade teacher, she's getting it. Dog,
Yeah.
hey
That guy,
man,
and he doesn't break character. Like, I've
no,
seen videos of him doing autograph signings, and he's still that guy.
he's still
He's
there's
asshole to little kids that come up to him,
kids,
and
dudes
he
in
just straight clowns them.
wheelchairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
And they just take it.
and they take it. He stays in character, and just the whole. I forgot the first promo that I heard him do. Oh, it was. I think it was the very first AEW pay per view, and Bret Hart was out there, and he was like, "Hey, Bret, look behind you," because that was right when Bret Hart got attacked at the Hall of Fame. Um, at the WWE
Oh
Hall of
yeah.
Fame, he got attacked by a fan, and then the
Oh
next
yeah.
time you see Bret Hart on TV, MJF is
It's
making
this.
fun of him for that. Hey man, that dude, whenever he's on TV, I have to watch. I There's no other way around it. Because of that, Maxwell Jacob Friedman is my number 4.
Okay. Okay. He's made an impact on you so like that so far, huh? So fast.
Hey, the scarf, had to go cop me a scarf.
Yeah, I see you, man.
Best,
He does, and
best,
he dresses very well too. So
dresses very well. He's gonna
yeah,
let you know that he's got money and you don't.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
He's a good character. I like
has a
it.
bodyguard so he can talk a lot of crap too. Well, not anymore,
Yeah, not anymore, but
but
yeah, yeah.
oh
Okay,
man, yeah,
all right,
I'm sold.
man. Okay, so my number 4, and I'm jumping into it like I'm mentioning the big name right away.
Let's get it.
My number 4 is the Phenom, the Undertaker.
Ooh, done.
Yeah. I would never forget the time when he first made his first television appearance. It scared the living shit out of me. Like, you could not tell me that was a walking zombie. You couldn't tell me that man wasn't dead. Like,
6'10".
I'm watching him like, how are they going to push this guy? Like, I remember Gorilla Monsoon, like, look at this
Mhm.
big, whatever, I forgot what he says. It's just iconic words that he said. And and it slips my mind right now, and it's like, dude, is this guy alive? Like, who, man, he's scared. Like, listen, I was scared to death of Jason Voorhees. I was scared to
Yes.
death of Freddy Krueger. I was scared to death of The Undertaker. You know, and his, like I said, his music, man, over the years, even when he became the American Badass, I fucking loved it. You know, like he's another guy that when he was bad, you hated him, but when he was good, you loved him. Man, he in his talk game, you know, I know he didn't talk a lot, but
he'd have to.
yeah,
He'd have to.
exactly. And you know, the stories you hear about him behind the camera, behind and backstage, how he used to look out for other guys and play games with people, and you know.
Did you catch that documentary they did last year on him?
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. He's a stand-up guy, man, and like I said, man, he's. But then the theme music
iconic.
If I can have that theme music every time I walk out my door to go to work, play, it'd be a great day.
Iconic. As soon as like I said, as soon as you heard the first,
still, man, it's still, my hair is still, you know, rise up. I'll never forget the time I went to an event, SmackDown in Tampa, and that music hit. And it's different when you're there.
Yeah,
you actually
man.
there and you hear that boom, and then the crowd just starts going crazy, and the organs come in, and
the
your
smoke.
hair sit up. There's like the smoke, the smell of the air is like, man, that guy right there is, if not, I'm pretty sure he's number one on a lot of people's list.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well deserved. Well,
right,
and you talk about another person that never broke character.
Right. He wasn't one of those guys. Like I heard stories like, you know how the wrestlers, back in the day, they wasn't allowed to hang out with each other like off camera and go to places in bars, and because they're supposed to sell it. So he kept that theory, and
he wouldn't do interviews or nothing.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Big fan.
He's one of the goats, man. If not,
absolutely. Big shout to Undertaker. Big shout.
Man. Yeah, man.
Ooh, so that's down to 4. All right, now snake draft. Your number 3. Let me take this hot scarf off. It's hot right now.
My number 3 is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh wait, hold on. We gotta. You talk about iconic intro music. Like there. Hey man.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. While you cue that up, is dude, his character when they first got introduced to us changed the game, bro.
Hey man.
Changed the game, and like all that flipping the bird and drinking beer and kicking asses and cuss words, and man, I was just like, I was almost like thrown about like it was when the NWO did their thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm like, this guy, I don't think he's supposed to be saying this stuff and doing these things, man. Can you drink beer on a wrestling promotion?
We got this. As soon as you heard this, you knew it was a wrap. I muted it. See the anticipation. I forgot I muted because YouTube has 55 ads on here. But as soon as you heard the music, you just knew somebody was about to get stunned. Somebody was about to catch something, catch a punch, catch an elbow.
Yeah, man. You just man, that walk, man. Like he didn't give a damn, man. Like I was ready for Vince McMahon to fire him at any given moment when he first started. And then, you know, watching him being interviewed by Michael Hayes, And when he said Austin 316 said, I just kicked your ass, I was just like, who is this guy?
You felt
But
every bit of that.
Yeah, man. And I remember him a little bit in WCW. When he came, I was like, whoa, man, this is awesome, man. And that whole, of course it started that whole era or whatever. But yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin. If anybody, I don't give a fuck who you are, if you do a top 5 like we're doing and you don't include Steve Austin in your list, you got some problems. And I hope you got him somewhere on there.
I have some problems, but I have reasons. I have reasons for not having him on. So let me do this because I don't have on. The main reason why I don't have Steve Austin on here is because I resonated with the other characters more than.
So you made it personal like I did with Jake the Snake.
Yeah. So all the criteria, but then I could it wasn't necessarily representation, but I could just see whatever the character was selling, I was buying it. And also, I was 16 when he was big. I couldn't imagine going to Eckerd's and trying to stun my boss and just flip him the bird and be like, no, I'm not doing that. And it was cool to watch, and he deserves to be on the top 5. Steve Austin, I'm sorry. Show up. Please don't stun me. I apologize. You should be on this list.
Yeah, but man, he should be.
There are reasons.
Yeah, but Stone Cold definitely left the mark, and and to me, he's one of the greats, man. But okay, so you're number 3.
My number 3. Okay, so I have to say this number 3. It's a certain gimmick specific, but the guy is good. But you'll catch my drift on the certain gimmick.
Can't hear it.
So, you think you're untouchable? Word life. This is basic thugonomics. This is basic thugonomics.
My number 3, John Cena as the heel. I'm clarifying my number 3 on that. Not the colorful t-shirt wearing John Cena. Right. John Cena back then, because now you can't tell me, because he actually, when I first made this list, he was higher. He was at number 2. Because he hit on everything that I love. Throwback the Mitchell and Ness throwbacks, the pinwheel hats. He comes out battle rapping. He's talking trash. He's hitting people with the move sets. The music is a banger. The you just couldn't. I could envision myself, because I was also big at that time that he came, that gimmick was happening. I was big into throwback jerseys, because that was the culture back in 2003.
Yeah.
And just seeing every week he comes out to a different throwback. He's talking trash to The Undertaker. He's talking trash to Brock Lesnar. He's talking trash to Vince. Everybody caught it. But he was so cool with it because he also did, and he wasn't the disses and the lyrics weren't terrible.
No, they wasn't. They were pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. They were legit.
Yeah.
And everything about the character just hit, and it was.
Damn, that is a good character. You're right.
It was a good character. Right. But once he started turning good guy, and then it was okay, that is where he kind of lost me. But that period, I had to pay respects.
I like it. That's a good one, man. I didn't even think about that. That's a good one.
to that one.
That's a
So
very
yeah,
good one. Yeah, I
if
like
you
the way you
remember what
thought
I
that one
told
out.
you, so remember when we first told you, I said it could be gimmick specific. It doesn't have to be the entire career. And if you want to argue entire career, I mean, he's what 16-time champion. He's
Yeah,
whenever
yeah,
they're in
yeah.
a lull, they call on him to come fix a problem. Like I can argue all that stuff, but that's not why I like him. The throwbacks, the pinwheels, the FU,
Yeah,
the promo work, and
yeah.
that is why John Cena heel John Cena
I like it.
number 3.
I like it. I was kind of hoping that he would turn heel towards the, towards the
Oh
later
man,
of his career.
if he did, do you know realize the
I think the people really wanted that.
they want because his face run just got so boring. It was always the
Yeah.
same thing. He's gonna be attacked. It was almost like watching him and like the Ninja Turtles, where somehow, how could you tell me those 4 Ninja Turtles, 675 foot soldiers, and they attack them one at a time? Like, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like with Cena. See, it'd be Cena against 8 people in the ring, and
Yeah.
somehow Cena always comes out on top. I think people just kind of got bored with it, and it was like, all right, Cena's gonna win.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing that I don't think John Cena gets enough credit for is the way he uh passes the torch.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets enough credit for that, man. Like, he
Hmm.
didn't, to me, and I don't know about backstage, whatever, but from what I see, he never got in the way of the up and comers. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
as far as like on camera goes.
Right.
And I mean, I never heard anything about backstage, so I'm not in that depth with it. But I've always seen him like stand back, like unlike what Hulk Hogan did. Like Hulk Hogan was always the champion and always had to be the champion and this and that. Even though John Cena was as big as Hulk Hogan, but I don't see him ever. I don't remember him ever like, nah, I'm the champion,
Yeah.
fuck that guy. I've always seen that he, gave props to the up and coming guys like Daniel Bryan and even Bray
Hmm.
Wyatt and
Yes.
even the little guys like R-Truth and stuff like that.
Yeah. I
And that's what I
think
think. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I know he
he
gets
doesn't.
booed a lot and
He
and stuff like
does.
that, but he does. But I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I think he deserves more credit.
I think what happened is he just did what management told him, and management always wanted him to go over. And he's like, well, if that's what you want, like he was, like you said, he was never pushing to be that guy. I think management just told him he was that guy. And
Yeah,
he's just like, all right, be a good company man,
yeah.
whatever you want. I'm
I mean,
glad you.
I never dis. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I never disliked John Cena. Just towards the end or whatever. It's like, all right, man,
It
this
just
is
got
getting a little
boring.
bit, yeah, getting a little bit repetitive though.
It
But I
did.
never disliked them though. I always, my son loves them, of course.
Oh, big to the
Yeah,
kids. Big for the
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
I I like the transition because you set me up for a fantastic transition. You
Uh,
said that he was always willing to put guys over. And one of the guys he put over, and quite possibly the most exciting period of wrestling made by this one person, strictly by one person.
okay. Yeah.
Angle.
Yeah.
CM Punk was also one
CM
of the
Punk.
people that he put over.
Yeah.
I tell you
Yeah,
what,
and that's what
man.
I'm saying. That's one of the ones I remember. One of the big ones. Even though CM Punk gave him, on the mic, gave him that work when he was like, "Oh, you're the big guy. You do whatever the boss says." But at the end of the day, John Cena definitely, passed the torch on or worked him over. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that guy, number 2, CM Punk. And
I
so
like it.
so I was a CM Punk fan before the moment, because
Yeah,
there's a
yeah. Me
defining
too.
moment. So at that WrestleMania that we went to, I think that was 3 years prior to that moment, he had just won his second Money in the Bank, or he won the first Money in the Bank, and then he won the second one, I think, the year after. And so I always liked the character because he could work, and I was a big fan of. I watched the documentary, and just like watching the upbringing, like how he started into wrestling, um, and how he was always just like the underdog who was undersized and had to do all these things to get his spot. And the thing that I think I resonated with most, the pipe bomb promo, arguably the best promo ever. And that, if there's a top 3 promo list, that has to be on there. Because everybody at some point in their life has gotten fed up with their job, with where they're at, and you just wanted 7 minutes to just sit down and just let it all out.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
talk about breaking the fourth wall. That promo just did so many things. Because before, you never heard of New Japan Pro Wrestling being mentioned on the air, and you never heard them call out John Laurinaitis, call out Vince McMahon, call out Stephanie, call out Triple H, call out the USA Network. And
yeah.
like, just you felt every bit of that. And then they had that match at Money in the Bank where he beat Cena clean, which at that time nobody did. Nobody beat Cena clean. It was always some
Yeah.
shenanigans. It was always something.
Uh,
And then
yeah.
he took the break. And then when he came back out with Cult of Personality,
Yeah. I remember that day. I remember that day. When he sat down on the ramp, I was like, wait a minute. That was so different to me. Like, I ain't never seen nobody just sit down on the ramp.
just sat
That that
down.
little that little thing is what kind of like, whoa.
What's about to
That's
happen?
what really set it off for me. He just sat down. I was like, wait a minute. I ain't never seen nobody do that.
You're like, dog, there's like 5 minutes left in the show. What's he sitting down for?
I remember
And
they were cutting off
he
his mic sometimes, and I was just like, man,
and he
this guy is
just,
really. And then he was like, I want to win the championship, and I'm going to leave.
I'm going home. It's
Yeah,
the one thing, and I wish they would have been patient with it, because he left. He was only gone for like a week. He
yeah,
was
yeah.
gone. If they would
That
have
was my next question.
somehow gotten to hold out for like 2 months and just let him just make rounds of just not being on WWE TV, but just being like showing up like a Cubs game with the title, like that just would have been so much better.
Yeah,
But
but
even
I
then,
don't think CM Punk would won. Maybe a Cubs game, yeah, because he's from Chicago.
he's
But
a Chicago
I don't
guy.
think. Yeah, but I don't think CM Punk wanted to go on the, the Tonight Show
Oh
and
no, no,
or something
absolutely
like
not.
that. But yeah, I see the Cubs game. I see your point on that. Yeah,
Yeah, I could see him just going to like a Cubs game or like a Comic Con or just
yeah,
something.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then
I see what
all
you're
of
saying.
that, and then the next year when he paired with Paul Heyman and then did the complete 180 as a heel, and then just got people to absolutely hate him. Just the whole like the changing, because here's the subtle thing that people don't understand about public speaking and talking. Heels generally have to talk slower because they're talking down to people. And if you just notice like promo, like the differences of promos of I'm better than you, I'm talking so you're idiotic, stupid self can understand the words that I'm saying because you're too dumb to understand if I don't talk faster. And just like the change in the promo style of that whole like segment, and then just and can we give a shout out to Living Color? You know they needed the checks. You know they used the royalty.
I'm sure they got a good check for that. Yeah,
they got a good check. And then I have to. The last part I'll say, when he came back to AEW in August,
like that was a big pop, man.
That was a big pop. It just felt different. Like it just a wrestling fan would understand. It just felt like you heard the music and you're just like, because you never, when he left, like you thought, okay, he's done. He is done, not coming back. And then you heard this.
That's one thing I hate. Excuse me. I hate about pro wrestling. I wish they would kept it old school by keeping secrets. Like I wanted to be, I like for the big surprise, you know. Like I didn't want to know that CM Punk was coming back. I just wanted to watch it, and it happened.
Yeah, they started dropping hints, and it's like just let it play out
doing
naturally.
That, man.
Can you imagine the pop?
I guess like with social media, it's kind of hard to do it now. But you know, man, hide them in in the trunk of a car and put a hoodie on them, or don't tell anybody, man. Just show up, man. Turn the music on and show up. Like they kind of did with
the pop if nobody knew that was him.
Man. Imagine that. Imagine that. I wish it could have kept it more of a secret. There's a couple of guys that came to AEW that nobody even knew. Like I didn't know Keith Lee was gonna pop up and
I didn't know that. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, man, and there was a couple other guys. I was like, oh wow,
You're this dude.
Yeah. I wish they would keep it more secrets, man. I wish there was, but like I said, it's probably harder to do on social media. With social media around. But back in the days, it was a little easier.
Somebody's gonna run their mouth, so
yeah.
It sucks. All right, I gotta save some energy for my number one, but that's later on because my number one is special place in my heart. Up to you now.
Do you think our number ones are going to be the same?
There's a chance. I have a criteria for my number one that there's certain points of it.
Okay.
But I think there's a good chance it might be. I think so.
All right. Now, to be honest with you, I had a hard time between my number one and number two. So last minute, right now, I'm changing my number one to number two. So I'm gonna make my number that I had number two gonna move up to number one.
Okay.
So my number two, and I'm gonna get in some theme music going on here.
Let's get this.
And this is what when I was a kid was my favorite guy. Posters on the wall. I did all the things he did, and he was my guy. And I got pictures of when I was a kid to prove it.
Ooh, I love it.
And my sisters can tell you, I used to do everything this guy did. He didn't talk much. All right. So here we go. Hold on, I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if it's gonna play actually. Oh man, it ain't playing.
So
hold on.
Anticipation.
You got kind of hold on. I gotta.
Because you sold it.
Play. Why isn't it? Let me make sure everything's plugged in here.
Because you're selling it too.
Yeah. So this. Okay. I think it came on hook. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, it's plugged in. Yeah, I don't want to tell you without playing. Oh, here
I want to hear. I want to hear the
All right,
intro.
here,
I want to hear it.
all right, here we go.
That's all you needed.
Man, let me tell you, this was my guy right here, the Ultimate Warrior. Man, I'm telling you, I used to paint my face. I had his posters on the wall, man. I wish I would have been more prepared and show you the pictures of me as a kid. I had his shirts. You know, I remember I used to beg my dad to buy me the shirts through the commercials they had. And they didn't have online. You couldn't get an online shopping then. You had to go through the magazine to order these stuff. I ordered when he became intercontinental champion. I begged my dad for a WWF foam belts. They had the foam championship belts then. And oh man, I tied ropes on my arms right
the
here.
Ropes. Hey, how about the little talk about merch? How about the little plush dolls?
Man, the wrestling buddies.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Those things go for big
Everybody
money
had
nowadays.
Ultimate Warrior.
Man, dude, Ultimate Warrior. I think one of everybody's favorite. I mean, when him and Hulk Hogan went at it for the champion versus champion. Oh man, I loved Hulk Hogan too. Then when I was a kid, I loved Hulk Hogan, and I was torn.
We emphasized then. Then.
Yeah. And I was torn, man. I was torn that match because I loved them both. And here we have the American hero, and here we have the guy from Parts Unknown.
just that part right there, from Parts Unknown.
Yeah, I'm breaking out my map and like, where the hell is this at?
Is this?
And man, yeah, it's like that. This ain't on the.
This is not here.
I don't see it.
They're lying.
Yeah, and my sisters can tell you, man. I used to terrorize them in the whole house because I used to just walk around and running around and just terrorizing the whole house, man. When I first put my son on to WWE, I pulled up YouTube and showed him. The first person I showed him was like, here, this is the Ultimate Warrior. This guy was, he was awesome, man. I loved it. It's like, and then like, what, you're big when there's rumors about your death. More than once. While
you're living.
Yeah, while you're living on TV, but you died last week.
Oh, that's a fake Ultimate Warrior.
That's a fake one. Yeah. It was funny. As side note, when the Ultimate Warrior made that whack ass appearance on WCW, and he came
terrible.
on the mirror and Hulk Hogan said, "I thought you were dead." That was fucking hilarious.
That's hilarious.
That was great TV right there.
The best part, I don't know if they did that on purpose, but that is awesome. That is awesome.
That was, but Ultimate Warrior, man, and when he won the Intercontinental Championship against Honky Tonk Man, it's like, it's like, man, dude, I love that guy, man. I used to, all that stuff, man. Oh, my Warriors, and I used to always want to take my dad's shoe polish when he was in the military to shine his boots. I made the mask, man, and man, I did it all, man. And yeah, I had some. My bed was a championship ring, and I used to run up and down my bed, being the Ultimate Warrior.
And that was it.
And like I said, he was my number one because how much I personally, remember him and the impact that he made on me. But then I last minute changed it up.
Hey, you gotta. I tell you what, man. And the other thing about him that a lot of people might not appreciate, he was basically Goldberg before Goldberg, because Ultimate Warrior didn't work by the hour. He came in, he's gonna get you with some elbows, he's gonna gorilla press slam you, get in, get out. Where's my check?
Yeah,
and
and
and run
you heard the
in.
stories. You heard the stories of him being a total asshole and pretty much impossible to work with. Uh, but I didn't see that then. Now that I'm realize it then now, but you know, man, dude,
But he
like
still
you
got
hear the stories
pushed.
about
Even with that, he still got pushed.
yeah,
Like,
and he thought he was the ultimate warrior.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that was
he
his
lived
deal.
that.
Like
He
that was
lived that.
him off and on camera.
Yes,
And
yes,
I know that he was uh to a lot of people, and I've seen videos of him being a total asshole, and people despise him in the wrestling world, and it was somewhat controversial. Even when he got the Hall of Fame, what's weird is he got the Hall of Fame, and I think the WWE did it reluctantly, but you had to
yeah,
recognize what he did to the culture. And
yeah.
but what's weird is when I'm pretty sure everybody felt it. That he got the Hall of Fame, and the next day he appeared on Monday Night Raw, gave that speech,
Like that
and
was
he
it.
said something about death, and I was like,
That's
oh
it.
shit, and I felt this weird feeling, bro. I felt this weird feeling, and I just said, and then he died the next day or the day after one of that,
Yeah,
and I was just like, man, dude, he
he
talked
said
about
it.
death, and I remember getting that weird feeling, man, when he said it, and yeah, man. Rest in peace to the Ultimate Warrior, one of the
Ultimate
goats.
Warrior.
Was number one on my list until I last minute
Ooh,
switched
big
it up.
shout. Ooh, so before we get to your number one, let's do a quick little recap for the people. So far, you have number 5, Jake the Snake Roberts,
Yes,
and
sir.
Damien, and Damien. Number 4, The Undertaker. Number Whew. Number 3, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And number 2, The Ultimate Warrior.
Yes, sir.
Ooh. And then real quick, counting down my top 5. Number 5 for me, the bad guy, Scott Hall.
Oozing with machismo.
Who's it with machismo? Number 4, he's better than you, and you know it. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Number 3, John Cena, the Thugonomics version.
The heel, man. That was a good take right there. I like that one. That was good.
Because
That
he
was
had,
good.
come say, battle rap, throwbacks, and could move.
Yeah.
I'm sold. When he tried to call out Fabulous and Jay-Z at WrestleMania, I was like, hey, dog, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. So I wish I'd have said this then. I guess the story goes is that he was legit trying to call them out and they didn't want to show up, which just
Really?
means, here's the thing. If I was them, I wouldn't show up either because there's no win for you.
Yeah.
If you let this dude come out and out battle rap you on WrestleMania, you're done.
Well, he in that setting he probably would have won because
that's what I'm saying. In that type of setting, he would have won. If they beat him, well, you're supposed to. So like I wouldn't have showed up either.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, so I think it was like WrestleMania 19. He spent weeks like calling out. He wanted hip hop's finest to come to WrestleMania for battle rap, and nobody showed up. So then he just cut like a 2-minute promo on like Fabulous and Jay-Z saying that they were scared of him. Fire.
Wow. I don't know. I gotta look that up. I don't remember
Fire.
That.
And then my number 2, CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk is good. I like CM Punk because I see him come from the bottom to where he's at now.
And see, I resonate with that so much.
I feel that.
Now, the moment we're all coming down to our number 1 of all time. And it's special because you have just promoted this number 1. He stayed at number 2. And just by waiting out his turn, he has promoted himself to the cream of the crop. Without further ado, who is your number one?
All right. Let me see if I can get this theme music on. Let me see. Okay. Let it marinate for a little bit for y'all.
I like it.
And here we go.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Let's go.
Is the greatest of all time. The most electrifying. The verbalness, that's even the word. The man selling this guy, selling the people, the way he talked his shit, man. The way he freaking, man, dude, I could go, man. It's hard to even say it because he was hysterical.
Oh my gosh.
It was annoying at times. It was when he was the heel, you hated. There's another guy you hated him when he was bad, and you loved him when he was good. And,
yes,
man, his mic work second to none, bro.
It's him and levels below him.
Yes,
because
yes.
he.
The way, man, I sometimes when I'm bored and get lost in that rabbit hole in YouTube. I just put in the Rock clips and look at his clips the same way I look at Michael Jordan clips.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
You and then you just laugh your ass off, bro.
It's so funny. Because that was another thing. Everybody could get it. You could be an old lady in the back. You could be a cameraman. You could be
anybody.
You know fan.
How many times I got people with the "it doesn't matter what your name is"? Man, dude, I'm the king of that shit, bro. And then
Facts.
the reason why I grew to him so fast when he first came and rocked my Via is because my brother-in-law at the time, he's from Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And if you know the Rock story, Rock also was there at one time, and he knows the Rock. Well,
oh wow,
yeah. So they were like acquaintance, so he knew his brother or his cousin or whatever. You know how it goes. But and then to top it all off, my brother-in-law at the time looked like the Rock.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so I was like, he's like, man, you gotta watch this guy, my Via. He told me about his dad, and he said, man, I know this guy, I know him, and so I was like, okay. He said, you know him, I know him too.
We got this.
And since then, I never took my eyes off of him, man. And like I said, man, just the way he promoted and the way he grabbed that mic and he take control of it, and some of the shit that he said. Do you like pie? And when he used to give Lillian Garcia a hard time, and all the ladies and all the divas at the time, and
everybody caught it.
Yeah, and it's something that it would never get old. Like I said, I still go to YouTube and watch his highlights, man.
Oh my God.
He was just a cool motherfucker, man. Wear the Versace shirt. With the
$500 shirts. Tell me you didn't want to wear button-down shirts.
Man, you know how bad I wanted one of them ugly ass Versace shirts, man. I wanted it
with shades.
Man, listen, you know what I mean? I try to learn how to do the eyebrow and shit, man. See, look at that. You got a down pat, man.
Oh boy.
Then he was, and then he was in, the Wyclef video.
Hey, man.
That's all that Wyclef had with him, man. People, don't remember that. So, man, to me, number one, without a shadow of a freaking doubt, is The Rock. I don't care what nobody says. And side note, if you heard the little rap that he did with Tech Nine, I think he fucking murdered it. I think he killed it.
My man came out on some crack or something, and he gave it.
And
He
you know what's so cool about it is like because you know who The Rock is.
yeah.
You know who Dwayne Johnson is. And he just is like a cool motherfucker. And he wasn't trying to how's the word say appropriate the culture. Like he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
trying to disrespect the culture because that's who he is. At the bottom line is Dwayne Johnson is hip hop. He got hip
Yes.
hop in him. He can tell you history of hip hop, you know, and that's a motherfucker right there who when he did that rhyme, I thought it was super dope. But I played it on my podcast episode one day, and my co-host disagreed with me, and I almost punched him in the fucking face because I thought it was super dope. And for a guy who like me who loves hip hop, I thought he murdered it. Even I don't know if he wrote it himself, which I wouldn't be surprised if he did because
He performed it though.
yeah, and just going by the way he ran that microphone in WWE, I wouldn't be surprised. As talented as he is, his movies are great. You know what I mean?
TV
And
shows. You can't tell me
yeah,
Ballers isn't a classic.
fucking man, that's a fucking great show, and I wish it would have never ended. It was right up there with Entourage, you know, and
Uh-huh.
dude, that man, listen, there's nothing that Dwayne Johnson can't do. And to me, it's The Rock is number one, bro.
That's I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all. So with that being said, let me play you my number one. Actually, I'm going to play number one from two different gimmicks because he had some different intro music too.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
So all of what you said rings true. However, the best version of The Rock, and I wish we got this version so much more, but we didn't. My all-time favorite version of The Rock.
I think I know where you're going. I think I know where you're going.
You talk about hitting all of the criteria. All of the criteria. Music, banger, entertaining, best mic in the business. He could move in the ring. He had his
in the ring was second to none.
He had a run, and you said it wasn't even necessarily his merch, but you wanted to go spend money on a shirt and just wear any button down you could, and it's like, yeah, I'm The Rock. Like this is what this is. And so you talk about going back to promos. I'm going to put you on a promo that I probably watch once a month because it's. I said the CM Punk pipe bomb is probably the best promo of all time. This one is a close second to me, and it's so good. So when you get a chance after this, look up the Rock Toronto promo. It was the heel. It was during that heel run when he came back as Hollywood Rock, and it's the Rock Toronto, and just watch him work the crowd. Oh my goodness! Let's not even mention the Rock concert that he did.
Oh yeah, that's when he came back in the leather.
That's when he came back with the vest and the leather
with the bull on it. Yeah.
And the shaved head with the big shoulder tat that he didn't have before. Yeah, and so big Rock fan for me. That is my specific favorite Rock character. But all of the Rock before then. So I'm not sure if you were aware of this since we didn't go to high school together, but during our senior pep rally, you remember Chandler, Ryan Chandler,
Stone Cold, yeah.
So he was Stone Cold.
I call him Cletus.
he was he was Stone Cold, and I was The
He did a
Rock,
great Stone. He did a great Stone Cold impersonation, man.
and so
I
we
think it's the
did
best
that.
one I've ever seen.
No, he was fan. It was great with
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the voice, the movements.
yeah.
He killed it.
You know,
And
Brian. You
so
know, Sweets. You know, Sweets.
yeah,
I remember when him and Sweets used to do it together. Sweets would let him Stone Cold Stun
he would
him.
let him Stone Cold the crap out of him.
Yeah,
So funny thing about that, we did that for a pep rally. and,
okay.
and so it was homecoming pep rally our senior year, and I came out, and I remember because we had a pep rally, and this is the only pep rally we had down actually on the football field because something was wrong with the gym. And while they're doing the whole pep rally stuff, I'm hiding under the bleachers. I got a button down shirt, I got the shades on, and then they hit the Rock's music, and I walked out there and cut a promo as the Rock.
Oh man, that'd been great to have video of that.
Man, I wish YouTube was a thing back then, because
Yeah.
I would pay good money if anybody has that footage. I will pay you Bitcoin, I will pay you top dollar, whatever you want. Name your price. Because
Yeah.
I remember I cut a promo and I'm hitting all the lines. I'm hitting the it doesn't matter. I'm hitting finally the Rock has come back to Jenkins High School. I'm hitting the millions. I'm hitting everything. And then Chandler comes out as Stone Cold. Actually, no. Then we had my man come out as the late Gibson mascot. And so I start talking trash to him. Chandler comes out to the Stone Cold music, hits him with a stunner. I hit him with the people's elbow, get the mic, if you smell, and then end of pep rally. And
I love it.
I would pay such good if I could find. I promise you, whoever's listening, if you listen to this, tell me, get in touch with me, somebody. But just because here's another thing, like talking trash is big for me. You got to talk trash,
Right.
and let's not sleep on the fact that The Rock went to the U during their heyday.
Yep.
So you got to learn to talk trash back then.
Better.
You have to. And that's kind of how like I grew up with cousins. It's they're gonna throw lines at somebody, and if you don't respond, then you're the one being picked on that day. And nobody wanted to get picked on. And so you learn to come up with one-liners. And The Rock saved me from a lot because some of those one-liners you could just interchange, and oh gosh, he hit like he was always without a shadow of a doubt my number one, not even close. Just the fact that obviously the fact I played the character, but you know, who doesn't just want to, it doesn't matter. It just, how could you not be entertained by that? Now,
man,
I will say I had to pace it because the later Rock that came back the last like 5 or 6 years ago, not a fan of that one, because that one he was doing too much. But before,
you talking about when he came back with Ronda Rousey or whatever?
That one was okay when he came back, like when he did the road with Cena and he took the belt,
yeah.
and just like I could go without that one. But or even when he got like announced as the WrestleMania host, and just oh man, and he called out Cena. I was like, this, let's go. Let's do this. Like there's nobody to do it better. And
I'll tell you one thing that I didn't like that they did with The Rock. It was him in the Goldberg match. The Goldberg one.
I
didn't like that.
the only thing I could, because Rock, okay, the other thing that you said earlier, Rock was always willing to put guys over,
Yeah, definitely.
always willing, and I think he knew he was like going out, and so he wanted to put over somebody. Like
You can
I
definitely
get
you
it,
definitely see it. Yeah,
I get it,
definitely see it.
but oh man, like even the promo work leading up to that match,
Yeah.
who else has a concert by themselves and it's entertaining
And sound good.
and
And he
sounded
sounded good.
good, playing the guitar,
Yeah.
cutting 30-minute promo. Like, so hey, after this is done, I want you to text me when you watch that promo about Toronto, and it's 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 just so good because he's one of those guys that he's a heel and he knows that he's the cool heel, but he's still gonna make you boo him. Like that's hard to do. That's very hard to do. So one thing, and I told you earlier, there was a common theme of my list. Every single person on my list, I liked them when they were a heel. I just like heels better. Heels give you more personality. They give you more reason. You can understand why they're doing stuff. I don't think they know how to make good guys because they make it so, all right, he's going to get jumped by 4 people and then he's going to overcome the odds and beat them and win. And you're like,
I like the good guys that are kind of like in between.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like what I think CM Punk was one of those guys.
He was one of those. He was the tweener.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them, a lot of the people I liked, they were heels, but then because they were so good, they ended up being good guys because of that. But they still had heel tendencies. Yeah. And I think that was because you can relate to, sometimes you just want to talk trash to somebody because you want to.
Yeah. Well, I look at my list, and besides the Ultimate Warrior and Tito Santana, the rest were heels at least one time.
A lot of heels there.
That's true.
I think Stone Cold Steve Austin was a heel, but I think people just loved him and he
still
ended
loved
up being
the
face.
Yeah.
But if you look at like the mannerisms, like he never really sucked up to the crowd. He just came down and just beat people's ass and then stunned them and then just drank beer on them, which by the way,
flicked them off.
Which by the way, I didn't mention this, but let's so because I'm sure you thought this too. When you were at that time and he's like pounding all those beers, you're like, dude, my man's drinking like an 8 to 10 pack a night. And then when you get a little bit older, you realize that out of the 8 to 10 that he had, he really only drank like 2 total. And he had 8 on his shirt. And you're like, okay, because once you do all this, you get the beer flash.
Just a bunch of,
it looked cool, but then it's like, sip, 2 more.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
Who the hell was the guy throwing him the beers, though? They were accurate as hell.
Hey, can that guy get a gig?
Man. I think he can play quarterback for somebody's team.
Hey, all he has to do is just hit the open guy. Because Stone Cold's like this, and he's putting it right in the pocket.
Right there. Like, he didn't have to move much or nothing.
Whether he was in the ring, on the other side of the ring.
Yeah. That's the most underrated person in WWE history. The guy that threw Stone Cold's beer to him. Because that motherfucker was on point every time.
All catchable balls. Everything.
Yeah. Right the numbers.
Because let's get real. Stone Cold wasn't gonna jump if it was out of his reach.
I mean, he'd be on the turnbuckle like this every time. Bomb right in his hand.
Bomb right there. Get done. 2 more. Bomb. All the time. Yeah, that guy. Whoever that guy is, I hope he got taken care of.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can Stone Cold sends him a check.
Let's see if it's on Google.
We need to look this up before we finish this because I hope Stone Cold sends him a check because he deserves. Excuse me, he deserves to have a little honorable mention.
Oh, they do this. Who was Stone Cold beer thrower? Mark Eaton Mark Reedon was a referee in the WWE as well as being a timekeeper who rang the bell before and after bouts. However, he's best known for launching beers 15 feet from the side of the apron into the hands of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Dog, 15 feet.
Let me see. I would like to see this picture.
He looks he looks like a guy who would be able to throw beer. I'll just say it that way.
Yeah.
He looks
I don't know if you guys can see this, but that's what he looks like right there.
Yeah, he looks like a guy that would be able to throw beer. He's well versed in beer throwing, I'm sure.
Yeah, man. He definitely should have been playing QB for somebody's team.
So, hey, if there's many teams that need a quarterback, he can make at least like 8 million or something right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hit the open guy.
Exactly.
Oh man, that was any last overall thoughts about, because this was fun. Not gonna lie, this was fun.
Yeah, I did think of something since you put a couple of new guys in your list. I got one that kind of a new guy, but not really. Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
That Fiend character, bro, is a hell of a character, man. And he is also great with the microphone.
Yeah, they never let him do it.
Yeah, when he was Bray Wyatt, and not the Fiend, and when he first came out with the other guys or whatever, and when he talked, man, dude, that dude was special.
See, here's what I never understood. WWE has always had room for like a creepy cult leader type of guy, and that's what he played to a T. And they still didn't let him do that.
Yeah, man. WWE definitely dropped the ball on that character and that act, man. Bray Wyatt. Like I and if he does go to AEW or whatever, I don't think it won't feel the same.
It won't be the same. Like there's some people where it does. I think because he was never like an indie guy, and like I think every person that went to AEW like knew those people from like Ring of Honor. And like they did indie wrestling. He was a straight WWE guy the whole way.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it would.
I think it'd be dope if he came back to. I think it'd be dope if he came back to WWE. I think that's where he belongs, man.
It should.
He's got to do it right.
But they won't. They won't do it. You know what? I will say this, but I'll just kind of looking at this and just remember what we talked about before. I'm really surprised you didn't put your boy Roman Reigns on this list.
I thought about him, and I like him a lot.
I like the character now.
I'll put him in my honorable mentions, but I do like him. I love his character now. I love that the whole table.
Head of the table.
I love that.
The tribal chief.
I love the way they put the Usos with him, man. Because I love like the Samoan characters and the history of Samoa in WWF and WWE. I love that. So that's super dope to me. Yeah, I love that, and I love the Usos, man. I always pull for them, and Roman Reigns is one of the is dope. So yeah, he definitely should be one of the honorable mentions, man.
I tell you what they're saying next year, if they can make it happen, big money match. Talk about Samoan heritage.
Yeah,
Rock and Roman.
Yeah, and I don't want them. My personal opinion, I'd rather The Rock be part of the family.
That would be
And
so dope.
yeah, man, like I think that the bloodline of Samoa is way more, important than the WWE. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like, I think it should be more about them being from Samoa and family than them going head to head with each other.
That would
You know
be
what I mean?
so good because
Yeah,
nobody
I don't
would
know
see
how
it
they would.
coming.
I don't know how they would do it because Roman Reigns is the head of the table and Rock is who The Rock is. You know what I mean? So I don't know how they would play that out, but I'd rather see them together than to, and then maybe the Roman Reigns can kind of come back to being the quote unquote good guy. I like to see Roman Reigns be like one of those guys, like I said before, be a good bad guy. You know what I mean? Like in between that line, and then like maybe like another faction where like there's another group tries to come over there and take over and give them Samoas a hard time, and they're outnumbered because this group has got more guys than Roman Reigns and the Usos, and they need another guy, and then The Rock comes out.
If you smell,
and then like evens the playing field, and then that becomes a good storyline, man. And I'd rather see that than them to go head to head with each other, man.
Yeah, no, that I've never heard of somebody say that. That would be because it would be unexpected, and they're expecting them to fight each other. But if they could swerve and tell that story, I'm so just take my money. I'm sold.
Yeah, man, I'll be sold on that. I think WWE needs to not go back to the hardcore, was it rated R?
The Attitude Era. Yeah,
Attitude Era. That's what I'm looking for. They don't really have to go back to that, but give it some edge. You know what I mean? Like kind of like what AEW does. They have an edge to them.
A little bit of edge.
And I noticed that WWE has been slick cussing here and there lately. And
little bit. They
have
slide a couple in there. I'm like,
yeah.
Y'all were doing this before.
Yeah, they need someone or something to give them that edge to kind of make it a little bit more raw, like and kind of like Attitude Era-ish, but not all fully where it's like, okay, you're just copying the same thing you did in Attitude Era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what the WWE needs. They need
somebody to captivate.
Yeah, they got some good guys too, man. Damian Priest is a good one.
He's the good one.
He's a good guy. I like. Plus, he's Puerto Rican, so I'm going for that.
He's already up there. Now. If we do this list in 5 years, Damian Priest will be like number 3.
Yeah, he's super dope. I see a big future with him, man. And I think they should push Finn Balor a little bit more too.
He should, but they won't. But he should.
Yeah, and some of the guys in NXT, I don't really keep up with NXT too much, but the champ now. Rick Steiner's son. Yeah. I think that's super dope. I think he has a bright future, man. And I love the Steiner brothers, and and the way when his son comes to the ring with the same thing that Rick Steiner wore, he barks and stuff, man.
And let's be real, not anybody can just pull out some tie-dye strap wrestling tights.
Yeah. So apparently there's some kind of beef with Rick Steiner and WWE because they don't really push the fact that this is Rick Steiner's son. You know what I mean? They never really quite mentioned it.
Yeah, I have noticed that. I don't know why.
Yeah, they don't say he's third generation, nothing like that. You know what I mean? So I see little clips on the internet about when he does make references to his father while he's out there, like when he does the bark, and the way he dresses in the wrestling, gear. All he's missing is the ear thing, in the varsity jacket, yeah. So he does kind of pay homage to his father in those, kind of low key ways. But I think if I'm mistaken, there's some kind of beef with Rick Steiner and the WWE, which I hate. Now that brings me to another question. Are the Steiner brothers in the Hall of Fame? Or any one of them?
No. And this is, by my understanding, this is why. I think, because I think
Scott
they
Steiner put his
limited.
foot in his mouth too much.
That for sure,
Yeah,
but
we
I
already
think
know
they
that,
limit it to their WCW and WWE runs. I don't think it takes into account anything outside of those. And if I remember right, they were big like a territory tag team. I don't think I know in WWE they were nothing, and I don't think they did a
Yeah.
whole lot in WCW. That might be why, but they should. Legendary tag team. I'll tell you what though.
They should definitely be in the Hall of Fame, man.
I'll tell you what though. You want another up and comer to watch because he's also at NXT. The North American champion Carmelo Hayes. Hey, check that dude out. I will say this because you'll appreciate this. They doing promos from the barbershop.
Like the movie Barbershop?
No, like they're in the barbershop. You know how they do the vignettes?
Oh, got you. Okay.
They're in the barbershop doing like cutting promos, and then they get faded up after the promo.
Oh, yeah?
Fire.
I ain't never seen it. What's the name?
Carmelo Hayes.
Okay.
Man's good on the mic. Man can work.
He's on NXT or what?
NXT. He's gonna be that dude in like a few years because that he can already talk, he can work, he's got a bodyguard, so he's heelish, which already he's up on my list. He's already beat like big dudes, and they cut promos, but man was in the barbershop cutting a promo. They were in like a scary house, like way back when, and they're like, "Dog, we don't belong in a scary house." As soon as he said that, I'm like, "You're not wrong." Sold. You were right.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
So they did like, and they did a promo. This was a while ago, like maybe a month or so ago, where his bodyguard was like talking in talking urban. Yeah. So it was the black manager talking to this dude, and then they had to translate to the white dude who was the mediator. It was so great. Just because like you could understand being that dude, like he has no idea what they're saying right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, funny. This means this."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fire. But yeah, that's check him out. He's good. But yeah, before you do anything though, when you do get a chance, I want you to check out that Rock promo, and I want you to message
I already got it lined up
because
I remember the promo kind of, but I'll definitely have to revisit it.
Man, it's from the entrance, because like the entrance, the walk, and then once he grabs the mic and then just it has probably the best line that I'm surprised nobody has ever said in a promo. And I will spoil because it's not even the best line of the whole thing. You know how like people do the cheap pops and they're like, "We are in Kansas City."
Yeah.
So he does that there. And he goes, "And we're going to do this right here in Toronto." And they cheer. He's like, wait. Is this the first time you've ever heard somebody say your city? Oh, yay, we're in Toronto. Yay. And he just flips it that easy. And I'm like, oh God, hey.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. You say the city's name and everybody starts cheering. Why y'all gotta start cheering? For what? You know where you're at?
Yeah. That's why he's the GOAT, man.
Hey, that's why he's the GOAT. Such a good one. But damn, it's damn near 11:30. I'm gonna try to get up at the gym at 5 in the morning.
Man, I've been trying to go to the gym for the last month.
I've been doing okay with it. I'll tell you what, I didn't go Mondays, daylight savings time. Said, nah,
Yeah,
I'm out.
yeah.
But
And these
I've been
couple of days been kind of, it happens every year, every time the daylight savings time, man. The first maybe week the most, it's a little bit iffy in the morning, and it takes a lot to get me going. But after about a week or so of it, then you get kind of used to it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, hey, appreciate you coming on here once again. Tell the people where they can find you, what you do, where they find you, and
yeah, man. So the podcast, This, That, and the Other.
This, that, and the other.
Is available on Apple Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Look for This, That, and the Other podcast, and also it's our Instagram page is This, That, and the Other _ podcast, and I am Luis LUIS _ Muniz MUNIZ 31 on Instagram. You can find me on there. Actually, let me double check. Let me make sure I said that right. So yeah, Luis _ Muniz MUNIZ 31. That's my Instagram page, and This, That, and the Other _ podcast. And like I said, man, we're on all podcast streaming sites. And be looking forward, be on the lookout for the visuals. It's a work in progress, man, but every day we try to make it count. You know,
that's all you could do. Every day is a good day on this side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, it's been good chopping it up with you, man. We're gonna have you. You've been on the podcast, and I got plenty of more of ideas, and definitely gonna have you back on it too, man.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you coming on here. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this one for a minute, and appreciate you coming on, giving your time and working a hard day's work, coming on here and chopping it up, talk a little wrestling.
Yeah, man.
Much appreciated. Thank you, my friend. And
yes, sir.
With that being said, this is the Perfect Me podcast, sponsored by the Percell Project. We do everything here, just out here trying to make a living in this world, leaving our mark one person at a time. Thank you all for listening. As always, if you have leave comments, if you have questions of our top 5, definitely let us know. We'd love to chop it up with you and talk about it. But if you chop it up with us, if you have Hulk Hogan in the top 5, I'm not listening to you. Sorry. Outside the ring matters, and that's all I'll say about that one.
Yeah, one day we might have a conversation about that too.
Ooh, man, that just
because I got to revisit the tapes.
I'm just saying, when people talk as if there's no tape, and they say the things that were said.
Now, did you hear the tapes? I haven't heard the tapes. Did he say it directly? Because one time I heard something, but he was talking about a story that Booker T or something like that.
No story. This was.
He deliberately flat out said it.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
This was.
I thought it was on some old Joe Rogan shit. He was telling a story that another guy told. And
no.
Okay.
No, he was talking. Man. It was directed.
Oh, I gotta Google the tapes. I gotta listen to it myself, man.
It's been a few years since I've heard it, but yeah, it was very directed, and that don't want to spend more talking about that guy anymore. But just leave a comment, let us know what you like. Give us, if you have other wrestling related, hip hop related, anything that people want to hear. We want to give the people what they want, give the people what they need. And exactly. Once again, thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure
anytime, my brother.
With you. And
anytime
we got to do this again soon.
Anytime, my brother. Anytime.
Yes, sir. Now I'm gonna go take my happy ass to bed because
Yes, sir.
I'm getting close to 40 and I'm a man. I'm 40. And yeah, we get a little tired. So
yeah,
that being
man.
said,
Hell yeah. Adios.